台あるそれ
アリア時代のパソコン FM タウンズ
富士通
Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Esoterica, and take a look at what I can only describe as Thor and Hacksaw Jim Duggan's brother ripping his shirt off. We're taking a look at Muscle Bomber, The Body Explosion, also known as Saturday Night Slam Masters, released in 1993 by Capcom. It is a one-on-one combat wrestling game. It's excellent. We're playing it on the FM Towns Marty. Obviously, you're watching the Marty season of Video Game Esoterica. This port is very good. It is not arcade perfect. There isn't really an arcade perfect port of this game, but this is as close as you can get. The sprites are the same that you're going to find on the Capcom arcade board, although there is no animation in the background for the audience. In the arcade version, they are all going to be moving. In the Towns version, they are completely stationary. You get an excellent soundtrack, though, for sure. On the Super Nintendo, this game has different graphics, but it does have more modes. The unfortunate part about the Marty version is that you only get the one-on-one arcade mode. You don't get the deathmatch or team battle, basically. So unfortunately, as far as ports are concerned, this may look the best, but it is the most limited as far as gameplay is concerned. Muscle Bomber is kind of a departure as far as Capcom's games are concerned. It's a 2D one-on-one fighter, kind of in the same vein as something like Street Fighter is concerned, but it's not a 2D fighting game as far as the moveset's concerned. It's kind of a hybrid between a Street Fighter and something like a WWF arcade game. The roster is pretty limited, as is the moveset, but the graphics are definitely awesome, and this is something that I had on the Super Nintendo growing up that I played. I think I either owned it or played it at a friend's house, but it's something that has a lot of replayability. It has a more in-depth moveset than something like a WWF arcade game, but it has more of that pick-up-and-play arcade fun compared to like a 2D fighting game like Street Fighter where there's a lot more depth. So this is more of like a party game in that sort of vein of just pop in a quarter, play it, have a good laugh, and you're good to go. As far as the controls are concerned, the one thing I don't understand is pinning. I certainly can pin my opponents, and I can pin them when they have no life left, yet they somehow still kick out. When they run out of life on that bar, you can put them in a submission move, and they will give up. Additionally, you can win by having your opponent outside of the ring for more than 20 seconds, and they can be counted out. But as far as pinning my opponent is concerned, I have absolutely no idea how to do it on the FM Towns version. It might just be up to the fact that it's only a 2-button controller, so you do have a little limited options there, but you will see that I just made him submit, and that is one of the ways that you can win a bout. Pinning your opponent certainly is possible, I just haven't been able to figure it out yet. I do like the animated intros that you get, kind of showing off the wrestler's introduction sequence. They definitely have some crazy costumes, and Capcom did a great job as far as giving each character its own sort of feeling and emotion and personality. I do like the little flashes of the cameras that you get in the background. It is unfortunate that none of those background participants, the audience members, actually move, but they definitely look better than in the Genesis or the Super Nintendo version. So as far as the game's concerned, like I said, this did get a port to the Genesis and the Super Nintendo and the Marty, but there are 2 sequels that never actually made it out of the arcade. You have Muscle Bomber Duo, which is a kind of revamped version of this game. It focuses more on 2-player tag team battle action than the original Muscle Bomber. I have played it on an emulator as it was never ported over to the home, and I definitely recommend playing it. It's not hugely different than what you're looking at right now. It's just a little bit different feel of a game, a little bit different action style, but I do recommend you check it out. It does increase the character roster. Actually, the Genesis version of Muscle Bomber also has the 2 boss CPU characters playable compared to the Marty version. So if you want more of a character roster, you're going to get it on that Genesis version for sure. The major sequel, though, came out on the Capcom CPS-2 system. That's Ring of Destruction, Slam Masters 2, also known as Super Muscle Bomber, the International Blowout. That is the more well-known game in the series, and I definitely highly recommend you check that out. It was never ported to any home console, so the only way you're going to be able to play that is by either A, acquiring the CPS2 A and B boards and playing those on a Super Gun setup or in a cabinet, or you can also emulate them as well. CPS2 emulation is very well done, so you can definitely enjoy that game fully, and I recommend that you check that out after you check out the original Muscle Bomber for sure. And here you'll see the time is over and I'm going to win because I have more health than my opponent. Like any traditional 2D or 3D fighting game, if there is no victor at the end of the allotted time, whoever has the most amount of health is going to be the winner. Now that we're on round 3, we should touch base on the difficulty of the game. The difficulty curve is more like a spike. Now that I'm in round 3, it seems like the CPU character can predict every move I'm making, every hold I'm trying to grapple with, and I just get my butt handed to me completely. So that is an unfortunate part of the game. You know, definitely being a port of an arcade game, it wanted to eat your quarters. It wanted you to get enough playtime in so that you were definitely invested, wanted to keep playing and winning, but it wanted to start taking those quarters sooner rather than later. I'll let you guys watch the rest of this match and watch me get completely decimated, and I'll come back when we switch over to Mike Hagar. Yes, Hagar is a playable character in this game, and it's great, and we'll talk a little bit more about Muscle Bomber and wrap the video up, but enjoy the gameplay. We'll see you in a second. And we're back with Hagar. Could have started with him, but I didn't want to put out that much awesomeness in the beginning of the video. I didn't think you guys could handle it. All joking aside, classic Capcom character, and it's super fun to be able to play as him. I kind of miss games like this. You know, Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5 have definitely been fun games to play, but I miss Capcom's like early to mid 90s output. The Muscle Bomber series are great games. They're super fun, they're easy to pick up, hard to master, and they're great to play with friends. You get like 3-4 people in a room together playing this game. You get some drinks in their hand, they have some beers. It's a really fun time in the same vein as like a Mario Kart or Mario Party, where the gameplay is fun and it's also a really fun party game to enjoy with people. So in that respect alone, I definitely recommend. It's fun to play as one player, definitely play it as a 2-player game. It's a lot of fun, a lot of laughs to be had. As far as recommending the FM Towns version, if you have a Towns or a Marty, definitely pick it up. It'll run you around $150 to $200. If you want to pick up the arcade PCB, also super recommend it as well. You can also play it on the Super Nintendo or the Genesis. Graphics may be reduced from the arcade version, but it's still a lot of fun and you get a ton of game modes. Basic point is you can't go wrong with whatever version of this game that you play. They're all worth it, your time and your money. Short of that, we really appreciate you guys watching this episode. If you could do us a huge favor, just go down below, hit the thumbs up, subscribe button if you haven't already. Please ring that bell so you get notified of new episodes. We release these episodes every Tuesday. They take a lot of time and energy to produce, so we really appreciate all the likes and subscribes that you can possibly help us out with. If you want to follow us at Instagram, you can at Chicago Game Collector. Otherwise, we will be back next Tuesday with another episode on FM Towns and its games. If you have any questions or comments, just go ahead and leave them below, and I'll do my best to answer each and every one of them. Otherwise, enjoy watching Hagar lose here, and we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.